XLM, we start with 1 hour chart. We want to see how we can look for trade. All right, if we refer to our analysis in my last video, when the price was within this move, we mentioned how we can look for trade, but we mentioned mostly we can put this one as a correction relative to this. That means we prefer the price drop before we look for buying. The reason is if we put this top in relative to the previous one, if we refer to the indicators, we see we have a divergence and as well here. Okay, now we want to see what's the next, how we can look for trade, whether this is we can look for continuation or the price can drop. Okay, in this case we move to higher time frame. We want to see what we have based on daily chart. As we can see based on daily chart, we are within this correction. We can expect the price to consolidate here for longer time, but can we get any trade setup for buy or not? All right, the best thing is if we trade based on forward chart. And even if you move to forward chart, even in my last analysis, we discussed that the way this one is moving is a corrective. And we prefer, if we want to look for buy for long term, we prefer this one give us one more drop. That means we put this one as a correction in relative to this for price to drop. Then from there, we look for the reversal. The reason is if we get the drop, we can look for divergence. Then we can get the confirmation for next move. It doesn't mean the price cannot continue from here. We mentioned even in my last analysis. Okay, the only times you can look for get a proper trade setup if the price continues a sharp move, because if the price continues a corrective move, mostly we cannot get a really good trade setup. That's why we prefer for price to give us one more drop before we take the trade. Then how we can look for trade based on lower time frame, we move to 1 hour chart. And again, if we refer to the indicators, we have a divergence. Okay, then if the price even continue from here, we are not really interested to look for buy. Now want to see how we can look for trade. As I explained, the best thing is if this one turn to a correction, we want to see how we can look at the chart. The first thing is if this one turn to a correction in relative to this, that's mean we can expect to get one more drop. And the second thing is, how about if this one give us one more drop, this one turn to a flat, at least as a one correction for one move up before we get the drop. That's mean either the price, the possibility can drop from here, or this one turn to deeper move. We can look for one move up. That's mean this one can turn to a more complex correction. Okay, this is how we can look at the chart if we want to look for trade. Again, it doesn't mean the price cannot continue from here. It can continue, but the only thing is we want to see how we can look for trade setup. Then what we prefer if we want to look for trade, at least this one give us drop some more. Then from there, if the price drop, we need to see how the way is dropping. If it's whether the price can retest the previous low or it can tend to a move similar to what we have here for internal flat for next move. Then just to make it very simple, if we want to look for buy, we need to get deeper correction. Then any reversal from there, we will take the trade. Okay, that's mean buying from here is not really good idea, because from what we have right now, unless later we see the changes, because what we have right now, it doesn't give us any trade setup for buy. And can we expect this one to give us a sell setup? Because we mentioned we're looking for sell, for price to drop. That's mean if we get any sell from here, for short term, we will take it and we start to manage it, and we see how it's moving. If it turns to the way it's dropping is sharp, we keep the trade. But if not, we just start to manage it. Maybe we can look. The only thing is, I mean, just to make it again very simple, if we get any sell, we take it as a short term sell, and with the breakout of this low, we start to manage it. If there is a continuation, we keep it. If not, we take out the trade. Then from there, we can look for the flat. And right now we don't have any trade setup. The only thing for buy, the only thing is if we get any sell from here, we will take the trade. And with the breakout of this low, we start to manage it. And even if the price continue from here as a corrective, we are not going to take the trade unless we see the sharp move flag. Maybe from there we see what we have here. But right now, even if we want to look for sell, it depends on the strategy the traders they use. Maybe we put our entry below here with the stop loss above the top. Anyway, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. Thanks.